there during the communism time, everything was just the way dictators say. And one of course the grievous decisions that have ever been made in the world, it is the permission of abortion happening. In 1923, Stalin permits this, and actually it's become to be a way of forced abortion too, if you have 2 or more children, because they explained that you have no way of providing for the child, so therefore you have to abort it. And in fact, if you won't follow what it says, what is told to you, then you will not receive a quality care at the moment that you would give a birth to your child. Or they really made it everything fearful. Women were afraid. I remember my mom, telling me stories how, there was just so tragic. She was saying that when she was pregnant with my sister, she went down to the birthing hospital, just a regular visit, and the doctor told her that she wants her to do abortion. And my mom said, I would never do this. And they said, well, how are you going to provide for this child? You are poor.
Did she only have one child at the time?
Yes.
So even after one child, they were trying to get her to have an abortion.
Yes. It was become to be such a just like, this is nothing. The life stopped have a value. There is no dignity anymore. And so many women were forced to this, either maybe by the government, most of them, or by their husband, or whatever it is, the circumstances. They just, first of all, they did not know who is in the womb. From the moment of conception, this is a person, the child, God's given grace to the family. But if they don't know about God, how can they understand the grace?
I think you said when you talked to one of our groups that they had no sense, because of no sense of God, they had no sense of their own dignity, right?
Absolutely.
They had no sense of human dignity even in themselves. And so then they wouldn't have a sense of the dignity of the child if they don't have their own sense of their own dignity.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes, we were in schools, we were taught this is fetus, and this is something that is blob of cells, this common way of thinking in this time, that was just a blob of cells. This is not a child yet, and way far from having a soul even, so, and which is, it's a tragedy. It's I think this is a tragedy right now in the world entirely, because we don't believe, or we permit ourselves to even question the life in the womb. What is happening at the moment when baby is being developed? How beautifully developed, with the not just the body being developed, but also this baby is being fused already with a soul, internal soul. And so this has a value of Christ's death. So in his sacrifice that he gave to every person in the world, even that there will be just one person born ever.
Right. But now back in Zaporozhye, when you were a child, you didn't know any of this.
No,
obviously,
absolutely.
because no one taught you, right? No one taught you. And say a little bit about your own experience then of what little bit of religion maybe touched your life at that time. Or?
Yes, interestingly, that my parents, though they were not religious, they did not go to the church, but yet they made a decision to baptize me. And they made this decision, and I would say more so superstitially, because everybody was doing it underground, so this was the good thing to do to protect the baby, or different superstitial things, which, when people deprive from God, they try to make their own things. So that was a part of it. I was, as an infant, was baptized, and that very St. Nicholas Church, which was in our city. But very next day, my parents were called to the office, to the party office, and they said, "You have baptized your child. We know that."
So someone spied on them.
Absolutely. And so it was, although thankfully to God, nothing really happened, but my dad could be in jail, and so do my mom for this, because it was greatly persecuted, very greatly. Any faith that person has to be eliminated, absolutely destroyed. There is no God. You only have one leader, and this is, Stalin, or when Stalin is gone was Khrushchev, and so it was just so you're not permitted to do this, and that was try to work really hard. The only very religious person I had in my life at this time was my grandmother, and my grandmother had a beautiful icon of Our Lady in her home, and it was Our Lady holding a child, Jesus, and very old icon, and it was so I thought, well, my grandma was the most religious person in the world, I thought, and she taught me to say Our Father prayer. I remember how she took me by the hand and she said, that you must know this prayer, you must know Our Father prayer, and she taught me to say Our Father prayer. And I remember after that how many times I went back to the Our Father prayer, and so this is all really what I knew. And of course, as after the communism fell down, even during these times, people still kept some of the way, I would say, tradition, but it was so deprived from the truth. It was just become to be superficial. Yes, like Easter, for example. We celebrated Easter. We were coloring the eggs and we would bake in the Pascha. But I would ask my family, what is this about? They say Christ is risen. Well, what is this? So really the first and the last time I've ever been in the church before 18 years old was at the moment of my baptism. And that was it. I have never been even once in the church, inside of the church.
Before you were 18.
Yes.
Yeah.